This week, Council takes significant steps towards reaching its road construction and rehabilitation goals for this year, and is finally able to finish up the new bylaws for the tax levy after a couple of delays. As always, we start with Councillor reports before digging into meatier Council business. Councillor Sisley has been busy with both her recreation and healthcare hats on. In addition to several recent events, Canada Day is coming up with activities throughout the afternoon and evening down at Riverbend Park. And as always, volunteers are needed to help make the event run smoothly. On the healthcare side, Neepawa, led by Mary Ellen Clark, hosted Rural Week for a handful of student doctors, an event so well received that we've been asked to expand their capacity for next year. The Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee has been working hard identifying key skills that the town will need, like obstetrics and anesthesiology, and attracting new physicians to the community. Councillors Kosenchuk, Nadeau, and Girard reported on recent meetings of HAND, the Library Advisory Committee, and the HR Committee, respectively. Deputy Mayor Parrott shared that EDO Marilyn Crew received an award of distinction from the province for her work in economic development for the town of Neepawa.
All right, we have lots of council reports that are going to be 2 minutes apiece. Let's go for Councillor Sisley.
Okay, working on it. I wanted to start out with a shout out to Mary Ellen Clark for once again organizing Rural Week for student doctors. They all enjoyed their experience, and so much so that we've been asked to bring in more students next year and actually double up on our weeks and do 2 weeks instead of 1. She does a fantastic job with these doctors and takes them around and shows them the whole community and involves the community in this. Deputy Mayor Parrott and I attended the Doctor Recruitment Retention Committee meeting, and just wanted to let everybody know what our doctors are doing in the recruitment end of things and their efforts. Just listening to them, it was fantastic. They're looking at an obstetrician that they're pursuing, an anesthesiologist, a locum to come in to help give some of the doctors some time off. They're working very, very hard, and we have quite a number that are on their radars. So it was a very, very positive meeting for us. Wanted to touch base Manitoba Cycling Association. They hosted an advanced bike skills training at the High Lift Back 40 this past Sunday. It was sold out. They actually flew the instructor in from Ontario for this, which was pretty cool. So that's great use of our High Lift Back 40 park. With recreation, we have 2 weeks left in the participation month. Some of the activities that will be happening in the last 2 weeks are disc golf, pickleball, and kayaking and canoeing at Riverbend. Check out the Neepawa Recreation website for more info on that. Also wanted to mention day camp is full. We have 3 amazing counselors this year who were here last year, and I think it being full is full credit to them because the kids wanted to come back and be part of everything that they have organized. Canada Day, we do have Canada Day information. So 1 to 6 p.m. on Canada Day, it's going to be a free public swim at the Neepawa pool. 2:30 to 3:30, there'll be the co-op bike parade at Riverbend Park. 3:30 to 7 p.m. there'll be face painting and temporary tattoos. 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. obstacle course and kids activities, and then 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. will be live music and performances, and there will be fireworks at dusk for that. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out. I was able to attend several of the PhilCan events in June this month, and just a shout out to our Filipino community. We're very, very fortunate to have them in our town. They're welcoming, showing us all of their culture and inviting us in with their culture. It was a fantastic day this past Saturday with the parade and the dancing and the events and the food. It was just fabulous. So shout out to PhilCan for everything that they've done.
I just have the monthly report for the HAND. The coordinator for HAND does a monthly report now that I will give every month, and other municipalities are to do that so that they understand what HAND is, which I think everyone here does, but it's going well. The income tax program saw over 70 participants now that it's done. The Elks exercising is done for the summer, but they are going to resume a walking exercise type of program. You can contact Michelle for that too. Everything else is going really good. meal program's great. Yeah, they're doing really well.
Oh, awesome. Any questions on it? Councillor Nadeau?
Yeah, I had a meeting with the Neepawa Library Advisory Committee, and it was a really good meeting where we found out a lot of good information, such as, we weren't successful with getting a summer student, unfortunately. However, because we're part of WMRL, we were able to allocate 90 hours of programming that we'll see in our community that we had put aside to complement the summer students. So now that'll be our main driver. We also had over 50 kids attend the Canadian Children's Book Week with Dana Church. We had a guest reader here, a guest author. We also are giving temporary library cards for fire evacuees that are in our community, so they have access to books still, so that's a really nice thing. At our last meeting also, we got to meet one of the applicants for a new member to our Neepawa Library Advisory Committee, and the committee would like to bring forward to council, perhaps it could be added to the next meeting, Charmaine Wickett. So she's been living in Neepawa now for over 2 years, and she's from Ontario. She's got over 6 years library board experience, and she's very passionate about reading and programs in Neepawa, and she's got some really good ideas that's going to really bring a compliment to our committee if she's successfully added to our committee at the next meeting. So I'd like to recommend that possibly for the next meeting we can make a motion for that. And that's everything.
And you'll submit that to Colleen?
Yes.
Okay. I got to drive in a Camaro. 6-speed Camaro, all the way to Steinbach.
That's not the story.
Oh. And we didn't have a race. Wink. No, anyway, so yeah, Marilyn Crew, our Economic Development Officer, got an award of distinction. And the thing about the town of Neepawa and all the people who work for the town of Neepawa, we are totally blessed with incredible staff. Everyone on this whole staff should get an award of distinction for the work that they do. Marilyn, for being an Economic Development Officer, has been recognized in the province of Manitoba, and she is very well known in the province of Manitoba by the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, as well as the EDAM, which stands for Economic Development Association of Manitoba. Ooh, I got that. Anyway, it was a great evening. We were in Steinbach. We were at a multi-use facility there that cost over $49,000.
79.
79 million. You see how expensive they are. Holy cow, the prices keep going up. Anyway, it was a grand evening. The supper was awesome. We got to meet a lot of people from across the province who all were involved in some way, shape, or form with economic development. And they were quite impressed with what's going on here, which we should all be very proud of. Anyway, so yeah, did that.
Manager of Operations Denise Kay was happy to report that they have actually managed to wrap up a few projects, including some downtown drainage, and kick off some others. The next things residents will see are the Mill Street Drainage Project, which is being completed prior to paving the area, and hydro working down on Isabel Street, servicing the new residential lots. With these ongoing street renewals, the town is trying to ensure that all preliminary work beneath the street surface is complete, including upgrading any water and sewer lines, so that when the asphalt goes in, there will be no need to dig it up again in the near future. The big news item is the awarding of the paving project that will run throughout the area of the new hospital, including the street extension, roundabout, asphalt walkway, and new connecting road to Highway 16. The cost of the project is over $1.7 million, which is actually slightly under budget, and the asphalt being used is a slightly heavier grade than in other locations to handle anticipated heavier traffic loads.
We'll go to Manager of Operations Denise Kay.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Parrott. So yeah, we've been wrapping up a few projects and just picking away at them. So one that we finished up was the Main Street drain from Brown Avenue down towards the hill. We had a little bit of pipe connect there, and then Boulevard was restored and seeded, so we'll just make sure that that seed takes. Lately, the staff have started on the Mill Street drainage projects. So starting behind the Red Apple and KK2's little parking lot, we're gonna go west, right through Mountain Avenue, all the way up to First Avenue, putting in drains, trying to alleviate some of that storm water that keeps rushing down and wrecking our street before our paving contractor comes in to fix that street. As mentioned in prior meetings, I mentioned we had successfully acquired some trees through a 2 billion tree program. Those were delivered last week, so staff have been busy marking those out on boulevards. So if residents are seeing a little flag and some paint, staff have determined that there's some missing gaps in our boulevard trees, so we'll be filling those in. I personally picked out the trees. Everything should be pretty good and not too invasive or displeasing, so no cotton fuzz, no berries dropping, stuff like that. So everything should just be an overall good tree, boulevard tree selection. And speaking with Hydro, they've started the Isabel project for us, so they'll be starting servicing for all the residential lots again, so that we can get our paving crews in there and finish up that street. So those are just the main projects. There's a bunch of little stuff happening behind the scenes, but everything's moving along nice.
Okay, so just for reference, the Isabel property, or the Isabel Street project is the old Eastview Lodge property.
Correct.
Right, okay. And the fact that we're doing the gutter, call it gutter, the surface drainage project on Mill Street is because if we're gonna pave it, we wanna do the tear up stuff first, so that once it is paved, it stays paved. So this is, again, our staff thinking ahead. Be it resolved that we accept the tender of Zenith Paving to complete the new roadway construction in Southwest 341450 at a cost of $1,777,693.67 plus GST. And I would now ask background information first before we have a mover in a second.
Sure. So this is the project that we call Hospital Road, also called Hamilton Street. And this will go from Broadway Avenue all the way up to the quarter section line. So that you have full curb and gutter, paved street for the portion next to Hamilton Street, but also the portion leading directly in front of the hospital roundabout towards the new Hydro intersection on Highway PTH 16. So it'll include 2 roads on there, pavement, curb and gutter, roundabout, asphalt pathway as well within there. Full finished street to actually a heavy spec, because it's 4-inch asphalt on this, opposed to our standard 3 now.
I don't know, any questions for Denise?
What's the weight limit on the 4-inch? Like, is that good for a fully loaded dump truck?
Yeah, just with excessive traffic and heavier traffic now, we've just been going to heavier and thicker asphalt now.
This is actually coming in under what the tentative budget was for that project, was it not?
That's correct. Slightly under budget, so we'll see what the savings there.
And we had a grant to match to cover, essentially it would cover the entirety of those costs based on that grant that we've received.
Yeah, excluding the all the work on storm sewer.
Yeah, no, that's right. But it's as far as the road work, because that's what it was targeted for. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll have a little money that we can actually send to the north-south road between the hospital and the potential new school there that's going there.
That's fantastic.
Did you say also it includes the path, like a paved path?
Yep.
Alongside the road? Wow.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, the resolution has been read, moved by Councillor Kosenchuk, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All those in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that we accept the tender of Macyton Construction Limited to install asphalt paving on Isabel Street to replace sections of Adelaide Street and 2nd Avenue with new asphalt, and to complete various other predetermined patching projects for a total cost of $346,978.44 plus GST. Comments from Vinny?
Yeah, so I issued this one out in Merck's, posted it. We had 4 bids come in, all compliant. Macyton Construction was the low bid. Didn't see anything wrong with it, so recommend we proceed with them.
And Macyton comes as a respected contractor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those are significant street repairs. Like these are not just a patch. Like this is significant renewals This doesn't include the infrastructure underneath the road. This is just strictly the road itself, correct?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is town staff, when we go to rehabilitate these streets, because we're gonna do full water and sewer renewals on these streets. So we'll replace the water mains, the sewer mains, and the service lines up to property line. We'll then work our way up with the base material, put a geotextile down, and then proper granular sandwiching all the way up. From there, this contractor will take it afterwards, do a little bit of polishing on our base work, and then pave the street.
So when we talk about the dollar figure here, this is just this is scratching the surface
This
literally.
is 3 inches of asphalt.
This is a 3-inch scratch of the surface, literally. Like, so when we start seeing those street renewals, when we see this number, this is a small portion of the overall cost of what it costs to actually properly renew a street with all the infrastructure involved. I just, so the public is aware.
This is just the general operating side, this is not the utility side.
That's correct.
Yeah, so the other thing is, you fix the underground before you play and make the top pretty. So all the people complaining about the streets and the condition they're in, we're doing the sewer and water first so that we can do better job later on of doing the pavement and extend the tax dollars. So we've read the resolution, moved by Councillor Kosenchuk, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All those in favor, and that is carried.
Councillors agreed to support a provincial strategy proposed by several other municipalities to make radon testing kits more widely available and make radon detection requirements for rental properties and new builds more robust. Radon gas is a preventable public health risk, and Manitoba currently has some of the highest indoor radon levels in Canada. As well, the town is finally able to pass third reading of the bylaw for solid waste and recycling services, as well as this year's tax levy bylaw. These had required approval at a higher level, which was finally received this week.
Titled Radon Action Strategy. Background, please, Colleen.
Well, you're gonna pretty much read all the background when you read it, but the background before you read that is, we've had a request from other communities who actually participated in the radon program to support a resolution to make this more provincial-wide and put more teeth into the fact that this is very necessary for all of our communities, probably to have provincial support behind this, to provide these kits and do this testing and make sure that our zoning bylaws and everything, our codes reflect the fact that this is very important. So I won't say any more other than you'll probably get the gist once Marie is done.
All righty. Here's the resolution, and it's long. Whereas radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that comes from the soil and enters homes and buildings as a carcinogen that causes more than 3,200 deaths per year in Canada. And whereas non-smokers who have high levels of radon in their homes over their lifetime have a 1 in 20 chance of developing lung cancer, and for smokers, the risk is 1 in 3. And whereas data from Health Canada shows that Manitoba has some of the highest indoor radon levels in Canada, with approximately 1 in 4 homes testing above national guideline of 200 becquerels per cubic meter, which highlights the urgent need to address radon levels in the homes, public buildings, and workplaces in our province. And whereas prolonged exposure to elevated radon levels poses a serious and preventable public health risk to Manitobans across all communities and housing types, and results in incalculable health care costs, and whereas many homeowners and tenants are unaware of the dangers of radon exposure or lack the financial means to conduct testing and undertake mitigation to protect their health, which can range from $50 for a test kit to $3,000 or more for professional remediation. Whereas there is currently no comprehensive provincial strategy in Manitoba addressing radar awareness, testing, mitigation, or financial support for residents, and there is a risk of this responsibility being offloaded to the municipalities. Therefore, be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, AMM, lobby the province of Manitoba to develop and implement a comprehensive radon action strategy that includes providing free or subsidized radon test kits to residents through public health agencies, schools, and libraries. Establishing a provincial grant or rebate program to assist homeowners and landlords with the costs associated with radon testing and mitigation, prioritizing low and moderate income households. Introducing a Manitoba radon mitigation tax credit, allowing residents to claim a percentage of certified radon mitigation expenses, making mitigation more affordable and accessible. And we're up to number 4 here. Requiring regular radon testing in schools, child care centers, and social housing units, with results being made publicly available and mitigation efforts undertaken where necessary to protect vulnerable populations. 5, updating the Residential Tenancies Act to mandate radon testing and disclosure in rental properties, ensuring landlords address elevated radon levels to safeguard tenant health. 6, collaborating with stakeholders to include radon mitigation measures in new homeowner warranty programs, ensuring that new constructions meet radon safety standards and provide recourse for homeowners if elevated levels are detected. 7, exploring regulatory changes to require radon testing and disclosure during real estate transactions and for rental properties. 8, revising the Manitoba Building Code to assess the effectiveness of radon control standards and incorporate more protective measures from CN/CGSB 149.11-2024, probably the Building Code of Canada, particularly in high-risk areas to prevent radon infiltration from the onset. Number 9, launching comprehensive education initiatives to inform Manitobans about healthcare risks of radon, the importance of testing, and the availability of resources for mitigation. Further, be it resolved that AMM advocate for the interdepartmental collaboration within the provincial government, engaging Manitoba Health, Manitoba Housing, and other relevant agencies, including the Manitoba Lung Association and Cancer Care Manitoba, to coordinate efforts and resources across sectors in addressing radon exposure throughout Manitoba. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by. Question.
What was the middle part?
I'm joking. Just I moved right on. No, I didn't. So he's moving, seconded by Councillor Sicily. All those in favor? Carried. Just so you know, part of a new building, any new build now, you must have radon traps installed. So in the town of Neepawa, in the planning district, all across Manitoba, radon traps all go in new construction. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3235-25 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to establish rates for solid waste and recycling services be now read for a 3rd time and passed. And this is a recorded vote. Comments, Colleen?
This is a bylaw that we've been waiting on the municipal board to approve our rates for garbage or solid waste and recycling. We actually received yesterday the signed document from the municipal board and the order that we can proceed. So this allows us to pass this bylaw. The next bylaw will be your levy of taxes. So once we get that passed, we can actually submit all that information to order our tax statements. And I know everybody up there is so happy and excited to be getting those. So just part in the process.
Okay. The bylaw has been read, moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. All those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, so this is now the tax bylaw. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3234-25 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to levy taxes for the year 2025, to provide for a tax due date, and to provide for late payment penalties be now read for a 3rd time and passed. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Kosenchuk. All those in favor? And that is carried.
I just want to make a statement about our taxes too. It's just, it wasn't us that was delaying bringing this forward, right?
No, we sent that in as per process at the beginning of May after the first meeting, and it's been sitting at the municipal board.
Right.
Yeah.
So for those that do want their taxes.
Oh, sorry, March, we sent in the beginning
Yeah.
of March, April, May, June, yeah.
Finally, Councillor Gerard shares some public feedback on the town's yard maintenance bylaw enforcement, which has been well received. He adds that campers and trailers may not be parked on town streets indefinitely, as this tends to be a problem during summer months and can cause access problems for emergency vehicles.
Okay, do we have any other business that we wish to discuss, Councillor Gerard?
I would just like to touch base. Got some, actually some positive comments from local ratepayer, and just talking about the fact that we mentioned that we would be issuing notices on grass cutting and stuff like that. And I just thought I would touch the fact is that we do have a person now in town tasked with doing a little bit more bylaw enforcement within the community. And one of the things that we just were commenting on this evening, as we now approach camping season, holidays, campers cannot be left on the streets for as long as they feel like there is a set time period where that camper can actually sit there. Obviously, we know it takes time to stock, clean out, and things like that, but they can't be there. One of the biggest things that was driven by was our fire chief of the day, and that it could impact the ability to protect houses from fires, where they could be relative to fire hydrants, or even physically just getting a truck into those areas. And that's beyond campers. That is just storage of any kind of a trailer on the road. So just,
anything.
yeah. So, but I appreciate that the community wants to see some more bylaw enforcement, and it's something that we're going to continue on with. And if you do have specific issues and it's not something that you feel you can discuss with a neighbor, again, just contact the town office and we can see how that meets the mustard with our bylaws.
Also covered were a Healthy Together Now grant for canoes and kayaks, funding of the local climate action plan, which was required before the town could apply for major infrastructure funding, and the regular financial reports. You can view end-to-end coverage of the council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule or on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments about these items or other topics related to municipal government, please contact us at 204-476-2639 or by email at nactvnews@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.